Chapter 4 is everyone's favorite, story problems, and there's 3 different main types of story problems that go with quadratics. So this first one is consecutive integers. So let's think about what consecutive means. Like, let's say that your integer is 2, and an integer is just a number. What are the next 3 consecutive integers? So that's just saying what comes after 2. Well, 3, then 4, then 5. Not hard. What are the next 3 consecutive even integers? So if you're at 2, your next even would be 4, then 6, then 8. Okay, so let's say that your integer is 9. The next 3 consecutive would be 10, 11, and 12. So your next 3 consecutive odd integers would be 11, 13, and 15. So it's easy when you do it with numbers. It makes sense. So then let's say that your integer is x. Well, what are the next numbers? So you would have that number x plus 1, that number x plus 2, and that number x plus 3. So think about it. If it was 9, this would be 9 plus 1. This would be 9 plus 2, and 9 plus 3, which would give us 10, 11, and 12. So that should hopefully make sense too. So that's really what we're going to be working with. So the next 3 consecutive even integers. So if your number was 2, you would add 2 to that. So this is going to be x plus 2. Because if it was 2, we would say 2 plus 2 is 4. So then we would take our number 2, and this next time, to get to 6, we would add 4. Then our next one would be to add 6. And that's how we would get our consecutive integers. The same thing is going to hold true for our odd integers. So when we started with 9, so our first number was 9. To get to our next one, we added 2 to get to 11. So that number x plus 2. So then if we started with 9 and wanted to get to 11, we would have added 4. Or 11 would have been our first one, to get to 13, I mean. So x plus 4. Then from 9 to 15 would be to add 6. So x plus 6. Okay, so you just kind of have to think of it in terms of the number and then turn it into a variable expression for that. So let's look at these. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 456. So the key is consecutive integers. So like 1, 2, and 3. So how we write consecutive integers, the first integer is x, that would be 1. Then we would take our x value of 1 and add 1 to get to 2. Then we would take our x value of 1 and add 2 to get to 3. So think of it. If this was 1, we'd plug in 1 to get 2. And if this was 1, that would give us 3. So the sum of those, sum means to add. So if we add those, we get 3x plus 3. Then it is 456. So 3x plus 3 equals 456. So now we're just solving these. Subtract 3, and I get that 3x is equal to 453. Divide by 3, and x is going to be 151. So what that means is my first number, x is my smallest number. So my first one is 151. Then we're going to take that and we're going to add 1 to it. We're going to get 152. Then we're going to take that and we're going to add 2 to it and get 153. So those are our 3 numbers, and if you added those up in your calculator, or if we just did mental math with that, we'd have 5, 6, so this would give me 15, carry my 1, 456, which is just what we wanted, so we know that these are our correct answers. Okay, so let's do this one. The sum of 3 consecutive odd integers. Consecutive odd integers. So my consecutive odd integers that we worked with above were 9, then 11, then 13. So my first number is always going to be x. So how do I get from 9 to 11? I added 2. How do I get from 9 to 13? I added 4. So the question says the sum. The sum means to add those together. So x plus x is 3x, and 4 plus 2 is 6. Then it says is 63. So 3x plus 6 is 63. Subtract your 6, and that's going to give me 57. Divide by 3, which gives me 19. So 19 is my x. That's my smallest number. So my first number is 19. Then I'm doing x plus 2 to get 21. Then I'm doing x plus 4 to get 23. And these are my three numbers when you add those together that are going to give you 63.